Happy hump day, everybody. We're just about to go ahead and get this show started here. And I gotta say, it's been an interesting week. I just hopped on and I just saw some nasty news already. Oh man, we could just never get enough. And some of you guys, I know you might be excited for Steam Frame coming up. We're definitely going to talk about that a little bit with the whole FCC. They released some very interesting documents. And without further ado, let's go ahead and let me get this chat box working, guys, because I got to make sure this is working here. Hopefully everybody has had a good week. Great to see you, Tim Foil. Always happy to see you there. There we go. If the chat box isn't working, just let me know. Well, I mean, we'll notice it once we're live anyway, so. All right. What's up, fan band? What's up, guys? This is Chris Mizo here. If you're unfamiliar with who I am, and here we're going to talk about some PC and tech. We do have some great and wondrous news about the whole Steam Frame coming out with their FCC documents. I mean, thank God for government documents, because now we get a little bit more insight than instead of Valve themselves, ironically. We also got some information about upcoming SSDs that are coming for PlayStation 5. I'm sure you've already heard of them, which was SanDisk Optium. They're really pushing it with the new 8 terabytes, but it is quite costly. You can actually honestly buy like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, like 4, 5 PS5s at least, if you go ahead and purchase this SanDisk Optium. And I'm not kidding. This is 8 terabytes. 8 terabytes will run you about $2,700. And just hearing the news, I'm just checking out Discord. We got some wonderful new members. We just got Hardware Steam, and we got Guy Copo. He's on here. He just let me know that the Micro Center bundles have went up, and we'll definitely check that out to see if that is the case. So let me see. What's up, chat? I'm trying to get this whole chat working correctly here. Hopefully it is. Tim Foil, I'm not buying anything in this economy. I don't blame you. San Antonio Mommy says 2950X is just overpriced 5950X with slower RAM right now. Hey, a lot of people are justifying to keep their builds the way they are right now. Let me get this. I don't know what's up with this. I'm gonna go ahead and select this real quick, guys. Activates. There we go. That's what we want. And you guys are seeing me in the regular widescreen format over on YouTube, correct, guys? Just to make sure, because for some reason it said it was under the short format. Hidden Bull. So $2,700 invested into a PS5. Laugh out loud. Elon Musk is the only dude I know with that kind of money. Absolutely. There we go. We got the chat working right now. Actually, I wanted to change this up. I'm going to fix this because I'm going to place the chat box in a different location, because as you guys know, this chat box is in an awkward location. I feel like it's actually better up top. So let's go ahead and move that real quick. I'm going to move this up and wider for you guys, especially so that way you guys can see. Isn't that better? What's up, Gio? I always say your name wrong. Guy Copo. You guys excited for the Steam Frame? Because I know some of you guys are pretty excited. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for it. Hopefully you guys are too. I mean, we got to check out the controller a little bit. We got to see that. I was a little bit surprised though. If you guys don't know, I'll talk about it. The tinfoil, I get it. I know why you're not too excited about it. I get it. If a SanDisk Optium drive that's 8 terabytes is going to cost you $2,700, you might be a bit afraid of what it's going to cost you for something like the Steam Frame. But the good thing is it doesn't come with any extra internal storage in there. Not big enough like the SanDisk Optium, because that's going to definitely cause some cost. So to say that. In fact, you can trade an RTX 5090 pretty much close to it for a Optium 8 terabyte drive. Isn't that wild? It's not even PCI Express 5, guys. It's PCI Express 4. So you're so how much of a gain is that truly? In fact, you might be a bit better off getting a Samsung 9100 Pro. In fact, it makes it sound like that's more of a bargain, doesn't it? All right, so let's go ahead over here. We're going to go over here into the browsing side. I think a lot of people are not excited about that. I get it. I get the reason why. I certainly do. Because it's just expensive. Everything's just getting more expensive. It seems like we can never truly get a break. Santos says, for me, it's not like I like not buying, more like I can't buy it. I get it. It's expensive. It really is. It truly is expensive. I mean, I've kind of asked, I haven't asked this in the chat, but I will in a bit. Hidden Bull's been highly affected. I've been affected myself when it comes to PC components and parts, and it comes to hardware. People do not want to buy PCs at the moment. It's expensive. I mean, like just the GPU itself. In fact, you know what's insane? I'm gonna show you this. In fact, I'm gonna go in video cards because I just read it briefly and I didn't get a chance to fully read it out the article here, but I found this was interesting. In fact, what I want to share with you is just how out of touch some of the companies are, as it's almost like they forget that we actually have budgets. As humans, we do have a budget. Everything, it isn't cheap. It truly isn't. To build a PC, to have the PC of your dreams, so to say. Because take a look at this Asus ROG 20th anniversary package. And now, this is priced, as of now, like the price in China currently. The whole bundle together is 112,026, not USD though. This is based in yen. So currently in yen, it's going to cost, the exchange rate roughly is about 16,580. So that just gives you an idea of how out of touch some of the manufacturers are, like when it comes to the pricing side. And we're definitely going to check more into that because we're going to go over to Micro Center to take a look at these prices. Thank you, Guy Copo, for truly saying this. Because we're definitely going to take a look at this to see how the pricing truly is, if it went up, if it increased. So let's take a look at Micro Center. Usually when you do build a PC, I usually highly recommend for those to go with the package, go with the bundle. It's usually the best way to build a PC. But it's almost like everything's getting more expensive and nobody can truly get a break when they want to build the PC that they would like. So Santos says, for me, it's not like I'm buying, more like I can't buy anything. Really take that into mind. Many people feel this way. He's not the only one that has said this. In fact, I know Hidden Bull, and for those who build PCs, will certainly tell you the same thing. They will tell you that they're having a very difficult time being able to release products, to sell their PCs, to actually run a decent business and be able to have people actually purchase PCs. And unfortunately, it's something that is not going to come to an end anytime soon. The pricing when it comes to PCs are just constantly going up, and we haven't truly seen any real stagnation. We haven't really truly seen any type of decline when it comes to prices, and if we do, it's nothing that's truly permanent. It's something that is kind of stabilized. We get the wonderful stagnation, but we don't truly get a real decline. Even if we get a hint of a decline, it may be for that week or so. And that brings me to my next point when it comes to the deals, which we will take a really close look at. Newegg, they have Fantastic Tech coming up soon, comes up next week. So for any of their deals, I will definitely share with you guys. I will let you guys know. For all you wonderful guys over on YouTube, Twitch, and of course on X, I will let you know all the best deals that I can find. Same thing with Amazon, they will have their Prime Day deals. But I wonder how much is going to truly be a deal, or is it going to be a myth? It all depends on what we see for the upcoming week. So far, I haven't quite seen anything quite yet, but soon we will get the articles and have an idea of what could be on sale. And of course, then I will definitely price match of what the current prices are for certain items. There were certain things that were on sale, but none items that were truly PC hardware. Now, the PC hardware items are usually going to be processors, and it's going to be based on motherboards. But RAM kits themselves, it's just like, it just seems like we can't catch a break. So let's go over here to the PC parts here. Now, feel free to talk. This is, of course, an open chat. So you can feel free to say whatever you want. If you have any questions about a PC build, you can definitely ask. You have problems with your PC build, feel free to ask as well. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go over to the bundle side to see what truly is going on. I know I'm just kind of ranting on a little bit, and I hate to say, but he is correct. You take a look at some of these kits here. The AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D kit with the motherboard and processor, the B650E Max. They are currently priced up in the higher territory. It originally was $399 for a kit like that. What I'm more curious about is we're going to take a look at the 7500X 3D kit to see if they adjusted the price any. What's up, Rugal? Great to see you. So for anyone that hasn't been part of Discord, feel free to join. What's the max resolution of 5700, 64 gigabytes, 9060 XT, 16 gig? Probably going to be, your best bet is going to be 1440. That's going to be the best resolution you're going to get at. That's assuming that you optimize correctly and you also optimize the game as well. So remember, and depending on what you're using, I'm assuming that you're using Windows platform. Because again, there's some other variables you got to include if you're using Windows 10 or Windows 11 when you're using it. I'm assuming that's what you're using. 1440p would be definitely the go-to for you. You would be comfortable there. Of course, you have to adjust some of your... Okay, Linux. That's even better, actually. Okay, so if you're using Linux, then the best you can certainly do is about 1440. You might get away. Yeah, 1440. Definitely 1440. I feel like you could push a bit further. If you could go to even the 9070 XT, some people say it's not as capable of pushing like when it comes to 4K. You certainly could do it. It's just, of course, there's a bit exaggeration. It's more entry level 4K, but you can do it. It just depends on the type of games that you choose to go with. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Noor. Rugal's good. Rugal's solid. I know he's solid. He's always solid when I see him. So, going down here, the 7500X 3D. That, oh, yeah. You weren't kidding, Kyopo. I see it. They dropped them. Okay, they made it for a second. They had me there. And what I mean they had me there is if you take a look at this, it's $249.99. So I was like, oh, they dropped $50. I was wrong. You notice in the picture what's missing there. You're missing the RAM. RAM. Right, guys? It's always about the RAM. Same thing. And then you notice over here, $349.99 for this Micro Center bundle, which they raised the price. Originally it was $300 for the RAM kit. But you kind of see what they did there. And what they did was that they introduced the $250 as a lower tier, as a very budget tier where you're able to afford it for a decent price. But in reality, that you're also going to be paying for this $350 gap. So it's a $100 discount, or so it seems. But the truth is, you're not really saving anything. They actually tacked on $50. So I'm glad Gyopo actually caught that. He is correct. They did raise $50 on their bundles here. So should I keep my CPU or upgrade it in 2023? No. I suggest keep it. Keep it as of now. If you guys followed, I actually posted up the specifications. Are you into Guild Wars 3 by the chance? If you're into MMOs, they recently actually posted up their specifications. I actually got that up on X right now. I could share it with you if you're interested in it to see what type of specifications, but it does not truly specify on what type of resolution that they are trying to attempt to reach at. Whether they're trying to reach for 1080 at 60 frames, I'm assuming that's probably the base guideline for minimum requirements. Assuming. I don't buy used electronics, only new. Okay. So for many people, just like Ant-Man, Like for him to be able to want to upgrade to newer tech and not be willing to spend used, which is understandable. There's going to be quite a few that certainly do debate on this topic. But I gotta say, like if you do want newer hardware, um, of course expect to pay a little bit more. It's going to be a bit more expensive. It just seems like everything pricing wise constantly goes up, and we truly can't catch a break when it comes to that. I'll switch actually over to my other window just to give you an indication of what the specifications are looking like. Now, for some of you guys, if you're curious about RDNA 5, not RDNA 5, if you guys are curious about the whole FSR 4.1, feel free to ask. This again, this is open chat. You can feel free to ask, and we can talk a little bit more in depth. I do throw polls up, so I will throw some polls up in a bit because I'm curious of everybody's insight out there. Of course, you guys over there on X, don't be shy to also chat as well. But I will go over now that most data centers are getting canceled with, will PC prices come back down? That's actually a great question that you pose. Uh, you know what it's like? You know what this is exactly like? You ever look out into the ocean and you see the constant waves, right? It's almost like that. Uh, the waves never truly go down. We never truly get low tide in it seems like. And the waves just keep coming. And sure, it seems at the time that things are dropping, things are lowered. But then the next thing you know, the next tide comes in. The reason why I say this is because MSI, SK Hynix, and other larger companies are pretty much warning us. Uh, I shouldn't even say warning us, right? Because they're the ones that's doing this. Well, not MSI, but companies like SK Hynix are highly involved into AI data centers and everything. So they're the ones actually manipulating pricing. But anyway, the point is, uh, they pretty much warned us, or pretty much said like you're gonna have to take this, doesn't matter whether you like it or not, is that that AI memory and storage prices are going to remain this way. These shortages will remain until 2030. So unfortunately, that is a large problem. Originally, it was told to us. If you guys remember, originally it was told to us that it was going to last at the most between 2026 to 2027. Hopefully, you guys do remember that this is exactly what they mentioned. But you look at it now, we're pretty much halfway through 2026. So we're just about to enter 2027 in another 6 months. Do you truly believe that memory is going to drop down to its regular normal pricing? Do you truly believe that we're going to get 32 gigabytes for $160 once again? But of course, that seems like almost a true unrealistic approach. It's almost like once the price increases, we're never going to truly see that price drop that we once did. So Rugel says some laptops can take SIM cards. When did they've been trying that for a little while. They've been trying to do SIM cards on laptops for a while, especially when 4G was really relevant. They thought this was going to be the big thing. Everyone was going to go on 4G on their laptops, but they ended up failing big time. In the US, what they had was a company called Clear. And Clear was the company that tried to advertise this. Maybe it was a bit early and premature at the time. Even now, it's still even difficult to get decent 100% clear signal even with 5G. So, of course, that company Clear ended up going bankrupt and pretty much did nothing. So, it seems like it's almost like a reincarnation of Clear once again. But, yeah, hopefully the AI buzz will calm down, since $20 AI subs having $14,000 worth of compute isn't sustainable. Absolutely, it truly isn't. It isn't. Hidden Bull says PC sales have tanked. It gets worse. The inventory that I have has not been moved. Tell me about it. I've really got PCs lying here. Like, it hasn't been on. I gotta turn them on to make sure that they're good. I bet if I turn them on, it's probably gonna go straight to the default BIOS. So the inventory that I have not been able to move, was all purchased at these ridiculous prices. If and when these prices go down, it will be that's exactly how I feel, Hidden. And you know what really sucks too? We work really hard on these PCs. We truly make sure that we give them the best of the best product. But when it gets like this, when you truly are unable to show and share your product and be proud of what you did, it sucks. It truly does suck. Um, did DDR4 will probably come back down. DDR5 will probably stay high forever. You know, DDR5 will stay high until DDR6 arrives. And DDR6 is definitely going to be in the process, as it is sometime soon, but of course not to the consumer side. Consumer side will tend to pretty much be ignored. They joked around already and said pretty much all SSDs are all pretty much on the AI side more than the actual on the consumer side. They forgot about us. Everything is pretty much labeled with AI stickers if you look at it now. So, like K, what's up? Hey, bro, what do you think of a build with the 9070 XT? And no, you're not interrupting at all. Feel free to ask. I will get to the chat. So, and Ryzen 5 9600X for 1440p. It's a awesome combo. Actually, we actually did a build in 2020. What was it? 2020. What's it? 26, 25. Just last year, we actually did a build pretty much similar to that. We used the Sapphire Nitro RX 9070 XT with the 9600X. In fact, if my buddy here, if he's here, Lee, he actually owns this PC. It's a great PC. In fact, he uses it, works great. He's running easily 240 hertz while he's playing Battlefield 6. So he uses it constantly. It's a great build to go with. It's a great combination. So yeah, go for it. If that is what you're aiming for. If you're going for 1440p, definitely go for it. So that would be some powerful 99% games. I'm okay. Thank you, Nor, for answering that. I was thinking about yes, it's a great build. Rugal says if it dates back to the start of 4G, really. As an ex-white collar dude, I've never seen that. Yeah, I know. Nobody uses it. That's why. Because when you look at it, it's just like pure crap. It's unreliable. It's true. I get it. Tony, what's going on? Tinfoil. Yes. Thank you. You know who called this out? It was Giopo. He actually called this out. He called this out and said, like, hey, just to let you know, the prices right before the stream, I was like, no shit, really. Like, the prices really did go up again, huh? It's like we truly can never catch a break here. And Ellis says, even DDR3 is going up. Yes, he's not lying. It is going up. People are going way back to find something affordable. Yes, it just keeps downscaling. They're even questioning DDR2. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but the DDR2 and DDR3 was not that far apart, like in generations wise. Like it was really fast DDR2. Kind of almost skipped right to DDR3. But DDR2 is like really, I gotta say, like a niche memory, if anyone still has that. So for office stuff at 2500K, it's still great. So DDR3 still has a market. It's no problem, Tony. As long as if you're here, just don't forget about us. What shortages are you talking about? YouTuber went when Amazon showed you can buy 30 RAM kits and 30 M.2 from... yes. Sure. Yes. I get what you're saying. I do get it because a lot of people question that. And okay, this is what he's trying to say here. Ant-Man is saying, like, how are there shortages when there is plenty in stock? So if we go ahead and take a look at some memory, let's go ahead and go to PC parts here, and we go to look at computer memory here, and we go to DDR5 RAM. Yes. Not that kind. Yes. Budget short. Yes. It's a different kind of shortage. Yes. Because, like, you'll see 25 plus in stock, right? Like, pretty much you go down the page, you scroll down, you'll see 25 and plus in stock, like, on pretty much everything, on a lot of stuff. You might catch some that's a little bit low in stock. But the problem is, it's not on the memory itself. This is really odd. It's $370 for this kit for 32 gigabytes. So it's actually holding for this price. The 64 gigabyte kit is pretty much holding at their price at $1,000. So they haven't adjusted, but weirdly enough, they adjusted. You know what that tells me there? Not to change subjects, but I went a little bit ADD there. But not to change subjects, but I was just thinking, like, if these are holding, then what's causing the pricing of the packaging of the kits to go up? But yeah, thank you. Looking at shortages, once they run out of shortages, like meaning once they run out of stock, that's when they should truly adjust pricing. For example, this should have never happened in the first place. Uh, when it came to memory, when it came to SSDs, doesn't matter what you look at, doesn't any type of PC components, what they were priced at the beginning for whatever they have in stock should just not immediately change in price. It should not just jump from $120, say, and jump up to $370. That should have happened. For what reason? The shortage just did not take effect yet. I believe that is what he means. They're just jacking up the prices and blaming it on AI. That's what a lot of people say. It's almost like this whole everything is finger pointing. I mean, you take a look at this whole PS5. I really got to show this to you guys. You really got to make it. It makes me really want to pull this up to you guys because I think it's more hilarious than anything, and it just gives you an indication just how out of touch hardware manufacturers truly are, like when it comes to this. This is what I want to share with you guys here. Okay, I'm gonna switch over my screen here so that way you guys can see exactly what I want to share with you guys. Let me see. Man, it's not up here yet, but it's okay. What I'll do is I'll just copy and paste the tweet, the exact tweet, right here. This is it right here. Okay, so you take a look at this. SanDisk promoted this yesterday. They promoted this SSD yesterday, and I don't know what they were thinking, but this just gives you an idea of just how out of touch they are. And so that's me up on the top saying that that's probably how much it's going to cost, $1 billion. Introduces the SanDisk Optimus GX Pro 850p NVMe. Now, first off, when you look at this, this is going inside of a PS5. So you don't need PCI Express 5, which this isn't. This isn't PCI Express 5. This is the 850p. So if you take a look at this, naturally you would think it's really affordable. But this is how out of touch they are. So when you click into this, they pretty much it's because I'm not logged in. I'll just highlight it and we'll take a look together. We'll take a look to see if Micro Center has it together, guys. You know what? I'll just look for it. SanDisk Optimus. and you'll see what comes up here. Okay. This isn't even with the heatsink, guys. This is just like their regular line. This is not even the 850X here. This is the 8100. The 850X. Here we go. That's 1 terabyte, guys. That's nearly the price of a PlayStation 5, like a base model. Ant-Man says, in 2003, I bought my two 32 gigabyte DDR4 RAM kits at Best Buy for it's amazing when you hear these numbers and double digits, because it's like it almost sounds impossible at the time. Just like the price of gas when oil goes up, the price of gas goes up fast. When the oil prices fall, the prices go lower slowly. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which is a great thing. It seems that oil is going to drop sometime soon. Oil will drop in July, so that's great news for everybody. So at least gas will be affordable again. So Annalena says, my local store sells 3K for 128 gigabyte kits of DDR5. I watch the inventory and they sell about 10 kits a month. The pool of buyers with deep pockets isn't yet exalted, and that's the big issue here. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look specifically for the PS5 version, because this is just the regular, more of the regular version if you have a PC. So we're just going to search it here. We're going to look for PS5, and we're going to see just how out of touch of reality they are here. Here we go. This is what we want. The 8 terabyte version here is $2,700. So any takers when the PS5 is upgrading to this, I'll tell you, if you are thinking of this and you own a PlayStation 5, I need to get, if anybody has seen the movie, Hell High, right? Some of you guys probably seen this. You got to put the baby powder in my hand because I will have to slap you. Because I gotta say, I don't know what you're thinking if you're trying to purchase this for a PS5. Because this is just insane. It's $2,700. You can literally buy 3 PS5 Pros. Because it just makes no sense. Like, tell me how you're gonna justify paying $2,700 for this SanDisk Optimus GX Pro. Has a really cool name, don't get me wrong. I like the rebranding and everything, but but it's a hard sell. $2,700 isn't something somebody makes on minimum wage here. Soon women will be wearing yes, those will be the days. Certainly. Now I'm going to throw out a poll, guys. I'm going to ask everybody a decent question here. Because I gotta ask. It's like it's hard for me to find that one person to just agree. Like, yeah, this isn't a bad price, right? So, does the SanDisk? I hope NVIDIA named the poll questions don't pop up anymore. Answer keys. Does the SanDisk Optimus GX Pro tempt you? And you just vote yes or no by putting 1 or 2. So feel free to put 1 or 2. And you let me know. Does it tempt you? It's seeing this. Did their marketing strategy work when they came out with this? Yes. I kind of figured this. Artificially inflated absolutely. This is PS up to look at the speed, guys. It's $2,700. And remember, we're just looking at the price. Look at the speed. 7,200 megabytes per second. RAM companies have already been caught doing the same thing before. Good point. You gotta be sarcastic. Whoever hit 1 is gotta be sarcastic. Definitely, or you hit the wrong key. Nor SSDs make next to no difference in gaming. A SATA SSD is often enough. No point of paying $3,000 for a drive. You know, you can actually get something much cheaper than this, guys. Especially if you own a PS5. I don't know if it's still cheap or not, but even Western Digital's Blue, if they still even have them anymore, Digital Blue SSD is probably going to be phenomenally cheaper, and you can get a heatsink on top of it. Now this is a 1 terabyte drive, but this is sure it's slower, not by much though. It's 500. This would certainly appeal. That's off. This is off. Those speeds are off. That's not correct. It's more like, here we go. This is correct. Yeah, so this is even up to 7,100. And so tell me, make sense of this. This is for 1 terabyte, right? So you get the 4 terabyte version here. Exactly. Yeah, that's why I figured there was something wrong with that one. That one, I figured it was that SATA one. But if you take a look at this one, M.2, yeah, kind of figures, because you take a look at this, it's $589. You get 4 terabytes. So even if you had an 8 terabyte version, it's definitely going to be way cheaper. All you have to do is buy one of these kits. If you guys are unfamiliar, you can easily buy a heatsink for an NVMe. You don't have to buy it with the heatsink. In fact, like some of the manufacturers that give you the heatsink when it comes with the NVMe, not all of them, you have to actually put the heatsink on the NVMe for it to be to actually work. Now, some of them will have them pre-installed and you can't remove them, like Samsung. But 1 to 2 terabyte, yeah, exactly. I don't see anybody using up to 8 terabytes on a PS5. Western Digital Blues are still active and popular. Hey, I still use it. I got a Western Digital Blue. In fact, I got one in this PC as a backup drive. They only stopped production of the Western Digital green tier. Oh, really? That makes sense because you don't truly see too many tiers. What about the blacks? They stopped producing that now because they wanted to rebrand it, I believe, when it came to the Optimus. When it came to the Optimus, that's what Sandisk wanted to pretty much get rid of the whole WD black. Man, they had such a legacy. It's crazy for them. Z-Man, what's going on? It's crazy for them to just let that go. It doesn't make any sense for them to let that go. And they created such a strong legacy when it came to that. Now to kind of rebrand it to Sandisk Optimus, and on top of it, you see this really high price tag that's on top of this NVMe. That's what everybody's just going to think about. They're going to just think about a highly priced NVMe. That they're thinking that this is not going to be worth anything. Why am I going to pay $2,700 for a freaking heatsink and a glorified Western Digital Blue drive? So it's like it's a waste of money, absolute waste. Oh, just I am going on a rant, man. I did not expect to start off like this, guys, because it kind of really pisses you off. You get really fed up, especially because you know people do want to enjoy PC gaming, and then you just create these limitations that just seem like they just are nonstop. Thermalright makes a good heatsink for under 20. Yes, Thermalright is actually a very decent brand. I actually recommended them for a lot of them, like on my top 25 list when it came to coolers. They're great, like when it comes to air coolers. For Thermalright, their Reapers are really dope. They're actually greatly priced, and they cool your CPU, especially if you have something that isn't really high in TDP. It's a great option to go. They actually go really well with something like even like the 9600X that we just spoke about. Or if you're going with something like a 250K, that would be actually a great choice. SSDs with included heatsinks have such a strange premium. It makes no sense. Again, like if for anyone that's curious, you can buy a heatsink. All you have to do is type this in. It's really this easy. NVMe heatsink. That's all you have to look up. And all it is you put it together. Look, there goes Arctic. Arctic makes one. It's only $550. You purchase this, and you can put this literally into anything, and you're good. It's all practically just a metal plate that you take apart, and they'll have two sides of thermal paste. That's all. Not thermal paste, sorry. That would be messy. Not thermal paste. Thermal pads. Could you imagine they give you thermal paste and you put that on? They give you thermal pads. They'll give you thermal pads in between. Here it is. They'll give you thermal pads between it to keep it nice and cool. And yes, liquid pedal on your SSD. Yeah, that sounds like such a bad time. Okay, so you put this on. There you go. You have the thermal pads. You put them in between. You sandwich it in together, and they'll pretty much have like usually like 2 or to 4 screws that you put together, and then you can pretty much install this onto anything. You could install it into your PC. You can install it into your PS5. Unfortunately, Xbox Series X does not have a place where you can put NVMe's, but you get the drift. You can pretty much put it into anything that allows you. Laptops, another good option. But yeah, you just pay $550. That's it. And this is where that whole strange premium comes in, because I guess you pay for that pretty dope LED light I guess Samsung gives you. So I'll show you actually the Samsung 990, perfect example. We go into the 990, 1 terabyte's $220. We go with the heatsink, right? Isn't that weird? Like, look at that price drop. That's such a large price jump between the two. I guess because you're paying for these LEDs. Again, that's it's you're paying an extra $80. I mean, back in my day, we had ATI Radeon HDs, not AMD Radeon RXs. Yes, I do remember. If they could rebrand it, ATI was a really dope brand though at the time. Like when you saw ATI, you knew it was good. Samsung is like ASUS. I know, right? $80 is absolutely insane for a heatsink. Because you have, let's see, one, two, three, four, you got five, and you got another five. You got 10 LEDs. There you go. Which you're never gonna see if you have on a hooked up on a PS5 anyway, because it's in a closed area. So you're never gonna see those LEDs go off. Are you really gonna look at your LEDs? Oh look, my game's loading. Again, it's a waste of money. So at least if you're gonna do this, just get. I'm telling you, it's easy, really easy. You get the 990 Pro, and you get that same Arctic heatsink kit, and you spend an extra $5, 225.50 roughly, for the kit and for the NVMe altogether, and you're pretty much good. You're good to go. And most of the SSD spots that are Gen 5 are, yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Because the Gen 5 SSD specifically have to have a very large heatsink. They typically dissipate a lot more heat. They run hotter than Gen 4. And that's the main reason why they need such a large heatsink. They need better cooling properties for it to stay cool. So if anyone's using that specific area for for any type of SSD and you have a Gen 5, make sure to have your Gen 5 in that NVMe heatsink, because that way it'll stay decently cool. Otherwise, it'll keep your PCI Express 4 nice and really cool if you put it in that spot. But if you do have a PCI Express 5 or plan on getting one, make sure to put it in that spot. So yeah, a lot of those, yeah, exactly, and that's what you have to truly be careful of. You have to be careful of this. This is actually something that goes that you don't hear as much as 12-volt high power ports burning, because the value is not obviously quite the difference. And no, to be fair, actually, speaking of which, it's like we're pretty much on the verge there of pricing. I mean, if you I gotta go back to this. You go back to this and you compare it to, I don't know, let's say an RTX 5080. This is hilarious to me anyway. RTX 5080 5080 Ors Master. There you go. Someone typed it in, but it's Ors Master. Let's take a look. You can actually get this cheaper. That's really crazy. You're on the verge of RTX 5090 at that time. Let me see. RTX 5090. What's the cheapest 5090 on Amazon? Let's take a look here. The cheapest 5090 that you can pull up on Amazon. Let's see. Something that isn't freaking by a third party here. Like, let's make sure it's from an actual manufacturer. Look at all these third parties here. I wish you could cancel them all out. I hate that. They talk about desperate money here. They're selling the box as a decorative piece. $180 for the box. Are they insane? I don't know what they smoked. And they have a lot of time on their hands to put boxes up. I'm guessing they think people are going to fall for it because they include the GPU. You notice that they include the GPU, but specifically for the box. M.2 are the only as fast as your internet will allow. Absolutely. Let's go down. And make sure you guys, if you guys truly need to get RAM, guys, there's a neat little website I gotta show you guys. Let me see. Let me go down here. Yeah, they're pretty much like, there's nothing on Amazon here. So let's go back to Wonderful Micro Center. Let's see if we could get one decently priced at Micro Center for some like a GPU at close to that price there, because it's pretty wild. You can honestly get a 5080 Ors Master, which is like their top card for Gigabyte, and then let alone you could actually uh, hook yourself up with another SSD at that point. That's really expensive. That just shows you the price of value for that SSD. It makes absolutely no sense. They truly believe that people are that foolish. That's insane. Okay, let's see. Let's go 5090 here. 5090. Oops, let me turn that off. 5090. We'll go lowest price. There you go. You can get yourself a gigabyte. Is this short form factor? It probably is, right? No, this is regular. Gigabyte NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5090 WindForce for $2,899. Or would you want to purchase this sweet, sweet kit? Let me go back here. There we go. Or the sweet kit. Yeah, sold out. That's a false price. Yeah, I know. That's got to be a false price because that there's no way they don't have them anymore. That's what it is. Anything. Let me turn off sold out. Include out of stock items. Why is it including it then? I don't have it checked, and they're including the item. Somebody's hiding the goods. Microsoft. I mean, not Microsoft. Micro Center in Miami. Who's hiding the goods? Who has it? Because it's still available at your store. You just put sold out. That's right. That sweet, sweet kit. You either get this Gigabyte NVIDIA GeForce, you spend a little extra money, you get yourself a nice little 5090, or would you rather have bragging rights for this $2,700 NVMe here? You know, I bet this thing glows red as hell. I bet that light glows. I hope that's LED. I hope that LED glows red as hell. See if they have one in open. Yeah. That's a good point. Maybe they gotta. Well, they just premiered. Just recently premiered this whole Optimus GX. So I know that they don't have, but I believe you mean the whole GPU side. Let's see GPU side. Let's see if they got any open box deals. They have to have something, right? Let's see. Let's look. We're gonna look for it. Top deals. It's so weird. They're including out of stock items. Let me see if it's glitched, and then I'm gonna click this again. It shows sold out. All right, wonderful. Let's see. Easiest way to look. I'm gonna click onto something, and you might be right. It might be under. It might be sold out for new, and it might be under open box. Let's see. No, because usually I'll pop up down here. Like if it's open box, they'll have it down here, right? Yes, Mr. Rainbow. It's great to see you. It's been a while. How's everything? How's the coffee shop doing? Let me see. Well, let's try this again. We're gonna try this. They got some Tufts. Man, they don't have any. I know they gotta have something open box here. MSI's Gaming Trio. No. Man, they got nothing open box here. The 5090s are going to be the tough ones. I bet 5080s, you probably can find a 5080. Let's try this. We're going to try 5080s here. And I bet they'll have it. Coffee shop is doing well, and I'm doing well. My sister's in Dubai taking a little vacation. Oh, good for her. Yeah, it's yeah, we were just, you know what, we were just discussing business here. Oh, the PC business is rough right now. It is rough. I barely hear anything anymore. Like it's almost like non-existent. There's like no economy anymore, like when it comes to the PC business. Let me see. Let me go down here. I'm going to look for the 5080s. These are all 5,000 sets, and of course 5080. And let's see. Why are they putting it? Oh, because now, let me check that now. There we go. I guess just the 5090s are kind of weird. Because when you click this, unfortunately they don't include 007 anymore. But at least, okay, this is what they're doing now. So at least if you get a GPU, oh, we're not returning a. Hey, some people, there's only one type of person that does this. Take a guess, guys. Fam bam guys, you can take a guess at this. Who is the person? Who is the person that's going to be willing? And I'm sure some people will take definitely a good guess at this. Who is the person that's willing to return a 5090? I'm not talking about personally yourself, like if you wanted to return a 5090, but who are the people truly that go and say, I don't want this 5090 anymore? Take a guess. It's a really easy guess, guys. Nope. Not steal the chip. It's another kind of person. I'll give you a hint. The kind of person where they feel like, this is going to be a really easy hint, by the way. The kind of person that likes to use eBay. They're the type that will be the ones. Because it's the way of the world. Ever since the whole COVID thing, right? The people who rent PCs. Exactly. That's right, tinfoil. Ding, ding, ding. You got it. It's the scalpers. They're the ones that will return the cards. Because they think, they hear the shortage and they're like, ooh, it's an opportunity. Anytime they hear shortage, it's opportunity. It's not like, oh, let me buy it just because I want to, out of the good of my heart, I want to sell it on eBay. It doesn't work like that. As soon as they hear shortage, you're like, let me take this and figure out a way of how I can make money. How can I profit off of misery, practically? That's the people that usually end up returning those cards. So, like, if we take a look at this 5080, there's going to be somebody that returns it. Especially here in Miami. I know you guys over in Miami know exactly what I'm talking about. There's type of guys that'll think that they can make money off of it, and then they're like, oh, nobody's buying it. I guess there is a thing as too expensive, but it does exist. And let me tell you, this is actually quite surprising to me. Usually, if you find a something that is open box, it'll immediately pop out. It'll be down here. It'll be like 6 new in stock, and it'll come up as 1 open box, for example. But going back, actually speaking of the bundles, never probably gonna buy open box. I would never. It's not on Amazon. Because can you imagine their inspection process? Like when it comes to checking out the returns, there's probably nothing. They probably just scan it and just throw it right back into the bin because they're not even gonna check it. I'm pretty sure they have guidelines that they're supposed to follow, but they probably don't. Just like any place else, they just got to get it done. They just want to finish it, and so that way they can have their downtime. So I never buy open box. The items always have issues. Yeah, it can. It can. Circuit City a long time ago had the worst. Oh, really? Circuit City used to be like a really great store, though. I felt like Circuit City was. I actually like Circuit City more than I did Best Buy. Best Buy was, of course, nicer. It was like the nicer displays and it had much more of a nicer presentation. But of course, Circuit City just the prices were just good. They were great. The prices I remember were decent. It just sucks that they failed the way they did. I truly feel bad the way how the way that they went. So I bought an open monitor from Newegg and I didn't. Oh, that's a good thing. Which monitor did you end up picking up, actually? So I got it dead on arrival at 5070 Ti ROG Strix. I was, oh, that's so, that I know that pissed you off, especially because you're so excited for the item, and then that just sucks. What did they do? Like anytime it comes, where did you purchase it from? Was it Tony? Was it off of it was off of Newegg? Or was it off of Amazon? Back in the day, yes. I know, I know. The 90s. They weighed the boxers, the database that has expected. Oh. So that's how they do. That's interesting. That is interesting. So okay, I'm trying this one more time. 90s people would buy a camcorder and return it after their vacation. That's why Circuit City and the Best Buy. Oh, yeah. You know they still actually have that fee. I always thought that was really weird how they had that fee when it came to cameras. Like there's a 15%. I know currently for Best Buy, it's a 15% restocking fee if you purchase any type of camera with them. I think it's like after a certain allocated amount of days. I think after 14 days, then they would charge that fee. So that's why they have that. That makes sense. ASRock Phantom Gaming 1440p 180. Is that what you're aiming for? What's up, Wasabi? I'm doing great. We're typical type of Wednesday, man. I was hoping for better news. It just seems like always something happening. But so, of course, some of the guys that are coming in, they're probably more curious about the topics, such as I'm surprised nobody has actually asked about that. The whole AMD FSR4.1 coming to even RX 7000 series, RX 6000 series. That's like the highlight of the chat, of course, and of course we got the Steam frame with their new FCC public listing, which kind of gave out a lot of information. I'm pretty surprised actually they're not using a rechargeable pack pretty much for the controller itself. You have to replace it with AA batteries, single ones. They use low efficiency Bluetooth. I think it's going to be pretty dope. Some people are not feeling the monochrome side of it. But of course, I get the reason why they're doing it because it's to enhance the better night vision, so to say. So anyway, Tony says I got it from Amazon. They refunded my money through, but my card were $1,600, and now you can't even find one. So I got a 5080. Oh, so they refunded your money. I was gonna say sometimes Amazon's nice when it comes to these return policies because sometimes they're willing to upgrade you like for free. That open box monitor. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, okay, okay. So that's what you ended up getting. How, so it seems like my RX 7700 XT won't be opposite now. No, not no more. They are working on it. It's going to happen. It's gonna end up releasing in July, so it's gonna be several weeks from now. They didn't say exactly when. It could be July 30th, but but it is coming FSR 4.1. They just have to convert the values of the way they do things. They can't like directly transfer it over. If you guys saw the video, you probably have a decent idea of like what it is. But they have to convert the values over to the 7000 series in order for it to work. But unfortunately, with the RX 6000 series, it's till 2027 because they pretty much have to rely on raw raster when it comes to that. So the good news is I built my PC 5 months ago. I never thought. uh, I don't think nobody needs their PC to go at this time, especially for those, because there's always like a timeline that you have for your PC. You always have like roughly about 5 years, right? That's like the typical 4 to 5 years when it comes to your PC build before you actually need to build a new PC. Some people last a little longer. PCs are lasting longer now. Maybe you wait 7 to 8 years before you build a PC. So for those who built their PC back in 25 are gonna certainly be worried about, especially when SK Hynix says, "Oh, this is gonna happen until 2030 now, not 2027, 2030." That's an extra 3 years that they just threw out there. But to be honest, I don't think it's gonna last that long, in my personal opinion. The reason being, you're gonna crash the market at that point. You're definitely gonna crash it. It's just unsustainable. Like you can't keep prices at this level and expect that everything's just gonna be fine. So the good news is let me see. Okay, didn't miss anything. But speaking of FSR 4.1, they're gonna rely on that raw raster. So for those who have a RX 6000 series and under, and then once that FSR 4.1 Of course, there's going to be some sacrifices that you will have to make. You might have to sacrifice some frames in order to get a better resolution. It's going to pretty much have to restructure and resample everything to a better image, pretty much like the whole ray tracing reconstruction. That's pretty much what it's going to do. But there's nothing inside of the RX 6000 or anything prior to that that has AI accelerators, like as the newer generation of cards do. So if I had to build it right now, I wouldn't do it. I'll just pay extra for the Steam machine. And that's why such a beneficial option for everybody out there. Like for anybody that is interested in a Steam machine, it's a very I think it's going to be it's getting a lot of flack a lot because of the whole specification side. But I'm telling you, it's definitely going to surprise a lot of people of just how powerful it truly can be. And I believe that SteamOS is definitely going to be redefined on that. There were some findings that I saw, like with Linux 7.2, how they're trying to embed AMD with the with AMD's 2.1 HDMI. They're going to try to put it together so that way you're able to upscale it to 4K with no issue, or try to run it at even native 4K if you can. But it's definitely a possibility and in the realm to do so. It's still June, so if this whole Steam machine does come out within this month, it could happen by the end of the month. And for sure, the this is why the PC community is a beautiful thing, especially the Linux community. Um, they will, I guarantee you, that there will be a way to be able to enable HDMI 2.1 by, like, if it comes out in by the end of this month, if it comes out by the end of June, um, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some sort of modification that you can do, because this is what we do as a PC community, as a Linux community. It doesn't matter what community that you're in, that you will be able to push it and upscale it or even run native 4K. So I think if you just like playing games and like, yes, I think it's great. You know what it's great for? A lot of those IPs out there that are in AAA studios. And there's a lot of great games out there. I mean, you got Terraria, you truly have a ton of great games. Another Crab's Treasure. You got so many great titles out there. I can just keep going down a whole list. You got Silk Song, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson, are you here? But yeah, you do have quite the list. You have quite a list of games, and Steam is wonderful. You have thousands of demos. If you guys got to check out Steam, the whole not the Steam Fest, but the Next Fest, there's quite a few demos that actually came out. They actually even came out with the simulator. What's it called? They came out with a second version. You can try it out. But as I mentioned, the Steam machine is going to have so much more capabilities than people realize. And I feel like it's definitely going to be such a large changeover compared to the original Steam machine that they had then. At the time, Steam machine wasn't truly ready for the world because nobody truly understood PC gaming at the time then. PC gaming has truly evolved since then. Like, you have more of an understanding of PC gaming thanks to the Steam Deck. Steam Deck actually did really well. So when it comes to it, Steam Deck was a great introductory of what possibilities you could do when it comes to PC gaming. And the curiosity will obviously expand from there, especially for those who are interested in doing things such as streaming. Just imagine you can do everything in one. You can stream on the Steam machine, and you're able to play your games. It's possible. You can do it. You will have these capabilities, and I think the Steam machine will definitely be a great tool for anyone that especially wants to game in the living room. All the old games as well. Yes, Mass Effect series. Yes, exactly. Thank you. I played 007 first. Oh, how'd you? Yeah, I hear a lot of people love it. I hear it's like a mixture of like the Hitman. That's what I hear about. And I've definitely been getting better at Forza, guys. I've been playing a lot more when it comes to Forza. So Dark says, do you think Steam Machine will utilize upscaling? Absolutely, without question. I believe Steam Machine will certainly take advantage of it. This is part of their plan. They have a custom APU that's coming to their device. And this custom APU, I'm sure people like rag on it because it has 6 cores, but um, it's much more optimized than a typical PC. It's not just going to be based off of Windows. Of course, Windows is pretty infamous as it is. Like when it comes to RAM, as it is, RAM usage, I can right click, open up. Many of us that are on Windows can certainly attest that the system memory loves to take up at least half of your RAM kit. Doesn't matter how much you have. You can have 16 gigabytes all the way to 256 gigabytes, just say, and it will use half of those resources for some ungodly reason. Linux will not do that. Linux does not do that. It will not hog unnecessary system resources. That's one of the major advantages when it comes to Linux. I think there's going to be a lot of capability because you have these other studios. You even have Epic Games looking for developers that can develop a anti-cheat for Linux. And the reason for that is, of course, they want to bring Fortnite into something like Steam Machine. But just imagine, it just shows you that this is just the beginning, especially if the Steam Machine does well. I think the part people certainly should question the most is that how the pricing is going to be. How much is the Steam Machine truly going to be if they decide to launch? I know there's a lot of people that fear the pricing. Is it going to be truly expensive? Is it going to be $1,500? Sure, it could be. But the truth is, I don't think Valve is trying to aim for that. They look at Gabe. I'm going to use Gabe for example here. Gavin. Wonderful Gavin here. So, he already bought this wonderful, big, beautiful house in Florida recently, right? If you guys haven't heard, he bought this huge mansion. I mean, a really expensive mansion, really fancy, underground tunnel to the beach and everything, right? Do you think he truly cares about making profit off of the Steam Machine? This is his side quest. So he's not trying to make the most out of the Steam Machine. He's not trying to make the most profit. He's trying to get more people to be a part of Steam. That's it. That's simple. Really think about it. It's being part of that ecosystem, being part of Steam. That's the key. Because once you're part of the Steam ecosystem, you're pretty much in. So it's just like consoles. When it comes to Sony, when they sold their PS5s, it wasn't to make profit off the console. It never is. Same thing with Xbox. They don't profit off of their consoles when they first release it. They know this because they still have the latest and breaking tech and cutting edge tech. And it costs them a ton of money to produce it. So they end up releasing at a lower price, $50 less, even up to $75 less than what the console was intended to be pricing wise, to at least have fit the satisfactory needs of the consumer. And I believe that the Steam Machine will do exactly that. They will do everything they can to fit the satisfactory needs of consumers for what people are willing to purchase for. So for those, I do have to mention, so far in the Threadripper project, we got $191 raised. Thank you everybody who has been involved. And yeah, I see a lot of questions. People are saying $1,200. But this is a lot of prediction right now. I'm going to throw up a poll right here because I'm curious. For everybody that is interested in the Steam Machine, I would love to hear what you guys think. Because for those who are truly interested in it, how much are you willing to spend? How much are you willing to spend for something like the Steam Machine? So it's going to be a multiple choice question here. So I'm going to ask here, how much are you willing? How much are you willing to pay for Steam Machine? So I'm going to put a couple choices here. So I'm going to put 800, 1,000. Of course, there's going to be different bundles and everything, but I'm just going to go off of, this is just going to be based off of base price here. And I'll put the last one for 1,500 at the most. Okay, so here it is. Feel free to vote here. So all you have to do is put 1, 2, 3, or 4 for whichever you vote. So hypothetically, if you didn't have a PC and you are interested in the Steam machine, what would be your limit? Or for those who are truly interested in it, how much would you be willing to? What's up, Havy? Great to see you. Did you get your Lean Lee stuff back? I hope you got it. I know you've been waiting for it because I truly feel bad. Uh, I know that's something you've been waiting for, but feel free to vote. So a lot of people are willing to spend $1,200 in the minimum because they understand how the market currently is. Um, some people may not truly understand what the pricing is when it comes to the market, but unfortunately, PC hardware comes at a cost. It's going to affect the console market too. Um, I just laugh because I just constantly think about how pissed off guys over at Sony and they get pissed off about the pricing when it comes to when you hit them with a little reality, they don't like it. I feel like specs only warrant about 800. To be honest, I'm not super interested. Okay, it's fair enough. Feel free to opinionate however you would like, and feel free to give your opinion because I truly want to hear from all of you that have something to say about it because I would love to know what you guys truly think. So far you got a decent mix. You got 25% at 800 and you got 75% at $1,200. So um not yet, but waiting for it. Tracking number at least? You got a tracking number? Hopefully you got that at least. Because that would make a difference there. I just hope that they do something to stop these scalpers. I think a lot of people feel like this now. There you go. Somebody's willing to spend 1,500. I gotta say, I'm very intrigued about like modifications wise. Like, how much could we truly modify this Steam machine? So, if anyone's just coming in and curious how you can vote, you just put 1, 2, 3, or 4 in order to vote, and it will affect the poll. I vote the highest not because I want to pay that much, but I think they can't make it for less than that. It makes sense. See, this is more of a, I guess, more realistic approach, which is definitely respectable. It's on the way. That's great news, Havy. I know you can't wait to put that in. I'm sure it's gonna work great. I think C Machine is for the person that one builder. That's exactly who it's for. It's for those for ease of access, for those who don't want to spend the extra money to be able to build a PC, spend the extra thought that they don't really have to into building a PC. Of course, if they do have the capability of building a PC, they would definitely go that option if they could. Um, but hopefully, Steam Machine's a much more comparable decision when it comes to picking out a PC. So if the Steam Deck and the Steam barbecue, okay, so if the Steam Deck and Steam my barbecue ribs, then I will buy it. Yeah. That would be interesting. Okay, add a little grill feature on there. I figure if I don't have a PC, I won't need a 5070 Ti, and that costs $1,200. So that Steam would, yeah, and I think that's what certainly many people look at when it comes to something like the Steam machine because they automatically think that it's going to be expensive. It's a 5070 Ti is roughly about $1,200. At the lowest possible price you can get, 5070 Ti is maybe $900 at the lowest. And if the Steam machine's $1,200, are you capable of building a PC around the 5070 Ti with roughly $400 left in the budget? So I think this is where a lot of people certainly have the options when it comes to selecting a pre-built, pretty much. So I would probably pay 1,500 just to have one, but I wouldn't tell them. I'm curious. I'm truly curious about how modifiable it is too. I know it comes with a custom APU, but does it have a PCI Express slot where you're able to upgrade it. Like, say if you wanted to modify and be able to put a GPU as possible, like even with a riser cable, or can you fully take advantage of something like I believe the next generation Xbox would do it like this, at least like when it comes to Project Helix, because there's no way it's going to be fully PC. Because when they talk, they say PC console hybrid. I think what they mean is that it's going to be like, think of it like a laptop. It's pretty much locked in, like for the specifications that you have at least. And included, you have like say LPDDR5, where you're unable to change it. It's pretty much soldered in. That's how I envision the next how Project Helix is going to be. The only difference is that, like, if you wanted to upgrade your GPU, you would do it via Thunderbolt, or that's probably the only way you could truly do it. So, meaning I found the faulty fan that was giving me. Oh, you did. It was a very specific fan then. It seems like. Oh, and that was part of the daisy chain that was giving you the issue. So was it? So when you hooked up just those two, was it just did it work perfectly fine, or was it just and it was just that single fan that was giving you that problem? So can't deny the Steam Machine looks amazing at least. It does. I think it looks like an excellent product. I think it's going to be quite the product that most people will certainly go after. Um, and I truly hope Valve isn't saying anything, because maybe they want to surprise everybody. Maybe they expect everyone to believe that the price is going to be truly expensive, but maybe for the fact they somehow are able to manage to release the product at a lower rate. Are they willing to take a loss, for example, if they're able to create the product prior to the whole shortages? Were they able to purchase all the items to build the Steam machines prior to them? But of course, that would cause an issue for the future, because after the first batch, it would be pretty much like the AMD RX 9000 series, if you guys remember. The first batch pretty much sold at what they promised at. The second batch sold higher, and then once they were able to control pricing, it went back down. So it kind of makes you question the Steam machine is going to kind of go into the same flow, similar to that. It's definitely highly a possibility if that's the case. So Mr. Rainbow says, why don't they make a gaming console with a motherboard that you can upgrade, even changing the case? Um, they're not going to do that. And the reason why, yeah, sure, it'd be dope. It would be amazing. Um, but the main reason why they wouldn't do it is because then they're going to lose money as a company. It's no longer truly a console at that point. They look at it as, at that point, it's no longer a console. It's pretty much a PC. And I think Xbox is going to think that way, especially when it comes to Project Helix. I think they're going to look at Project Helix and say, like, hey, most you can upgrade is your GPU, which is a phenomenal upgrade, but you have to purchase pretty much an external GPU. And for anybody that doesn't have a PC and unfamiliar with something like an eGPU, I'll show you exactly what it's like. For example, we can look one up right here. You look up eGPU. It's pretty much an external card. It looks something like, okay, so these are enclosures here. Let me see. Let me see. I know ASUS has theirs. We're probably going to have to go on Newegg, actually, to look for it. eGPU. So let's go in eGPU real quick. How much proprietary stuff will the... it's a really good question, actually. It's gonna have options. You're gonna be able to purchase it with a Steam controller and purchase it without a Steam controller. So it's gonna be like almost like a pre-built PC. Like, you know how some you could actually purchase with the case. I mean, with the keyboard and mouse. Some of them don't. Some of them have the whole shebang, where you got the whole monitor, you got the whole keyboard, mouse, speakers. Um, so Steam machine is going to be similar to that, except it's going to be like it comes with just the actual Steam machine and the controller, or it's going to come just with the Steam machine. I believe there's going to be other packages where they're going to include, like, for example, the probably extra storage, or maybe something like they're going to add some extra packages for sure, but it's going to be at least 4 different tiers. So the whole point of having the console is that everyone has the same specs and develop. Yeah, And I think that's the idea so far. So if they have, okay, so if you think of it like this is why I think an eGPU would exist. It's going to be very limited. It's going to be only for that specific type of model. Now we're just going to get all these. We're going to get the external stuff here. But I'm going to look for ASUS's actually, because we'll make this easier. I forget what they call it. The XG, that's what it is. The XG Mobile will be something like this. So if they have a GPU, you can hook this up to it, and it will upgrade the graphics. And no, it does not include you PS5 people out there. You don't have a PC, unfortunately. That is not the case. But anyway, they're gonna have something like this for Project Helix, and similar to what they do with the PS5 Pro and the PS5 base. This would be the option. Like you can upgrade your GPU, but you can upgrade to this model. That's it. Kind of like what Xbox did already with the storage as it is. They're going to say you can upgrade to this storage, but that's pretty much it. So they're going to have the options of upgrading your GPU. So you can feel free to spend $1,400 for, say, a 5070 Ti to hook up to your Xbox Helix. Or you can go ahead and just keep the regular standard graphics. So I think this is going to be more of the console enthusiast, so to say, console enthusiast PC hybrid type of guy, where you're like, oh, cool, I plug this in and now I got a GPU. I'll be more or so that I believe than anything. So it's going to be proprietary. So the only thing that would have made me happier is if the Steam machine came with the disk drive. Yeah, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. PCs haven't had disk in years. But it is hilarious that we do get motherboards and we build PCs that they still manage to come with the driver disk. Like, how the hell am I supposed to use this now? So, thank you, Mr. Rainbow, for always coming in. That would make sense. Theater reasons make sense, especially for us guys who have a nice collection of Blu-ray disc or DVDs. Yes, get plenty of sleep. Definitely try to get some sleep. Don't let the SanDisk Optimus keep you up. So Havey says, initially I hooked up 2 fans for the time being, and when I swapped the bottom fan to the top, it started resetting the screen. So I swapped back and it worked fine. So it took the 3rd fan, swapped around. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That is interesting. Has it been working since? Have you left it in, or was this more of a test? Was this just to figure out, or to kind of figure out what the issue was? So seems like we have fully voted on the poll. So far, we got one person that's only willing to spend 800. At 20%, we got 60%, which is the majority of the vote at $1,200. And we have a realistic vote of 20% says $1,500 because they believe that it's impossible for Steam to be able to charge much cheaper than that. But again, a lot of these pricing makes sense, and pretty soon we're going to truly find out what the pricing could be when it comes to the Steam machine. I feel like the days are imminent. We will certainly know in very little time. So, but what really interests me is that the Steam frame, how they chose to go with just interchangeable batteries instead. So I wonder if that's going to affect anybody's choice here, like when it comes to it. So I'm going to ask that question too. So if you're considering the Steam frame, this is specifically for the guys that are interested in the Steam frame, because out of curiosity here, does changeable batteries make you lose interest? Okay, so feel free to vote. You can put 1 or 2. Does interchangeable batteries make you lose interest? And this is specifically for the Steam frame, as they have single AA batteries that you use in the controller. Now, some of you may argue that it's no different than the Xbox Series X controller, where they allow you to use 2 AA batteries. You can use the controller, or for the Steam frame, it's pretty much the same concept. You just have one single AA battery, and you're able to use the controller. You don't have to just use it on the Steam frame itself. You could actually use it on other devices if you wanted to. So you're not just limited onto the actual frame itself, but you can actually use it on your PC. You can probably use it on your phone. But I'm curious to see if it comes similar with like a dock device, just like how the Steam controller does. So Tony says, back in the day, I had a lot of Steam games, but I also bought a lot of PC games, and they would let me store them on there. I wish there was a way to come up with a disc that holds up to 200. Yeah, the closest disc that can hold that much, they kind of limit it as it is now, already as it is, our Blu-ray disc. The maximum of Blu-ray disc could hold was up to 50 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure if they continuously worked on optical drives, I believe that they would be able to push the limits even further. But because there's not really any value into with optical drives, it just seems like it's going to be something that's going to be left behind. If it ever gets brought back, it'll be more of a retrospect thing, more of a retrospect technology type of deal. But I don't think they're ever going to truly push or surpass the limits of 50 gigabytes. Um, Shaders are very big now. Oh yeah. I mean, it makes sense. I don't. Yes. Um, but I'm gonna say for anybody that now it works fine, even when I swapped around. Really, I wonder if it was just not truly daisy chained. Like if it was truly connected, like it was magnetized correctly, because they do have a pattern when they click in. But more than likely, you probably took it out of the box. It was already mostly together anyway, right? Because it came in triple fans, and usually they'll pretty much will be linked together as it is already. So I wonder if it somehow demagnetized as you were installing it, and that caused an incomplete connection. It would make sense why you would reboot because you never had a secure connection if that was the case. And why are the graphics worse than they were? Laziness. That's just pure laziness, to be honest. Graphics are worse now because developers don't want to develop as much as they used to. They used to truly work on it as a true craft. They truly wanted to develop the games with a passion. But unfortunately, as we all know, there isn't the same type of passion when it comes to gaming. And now there probably is still passion when it comes to gaming, but it's a little bit different. It's more so that the time limits are certainly a factor, especially when it comes to AAA studios. That's certainly, oh, it came in the visually. That makes sense. Oh, so I wonder if it was connected correctly then, because most of the time they're together. The fans can short internally if one coil is shorted, then the other three can. Because you know they do have polarity on them too. Like when it comes to those fans, so it's like if they're not like, for example, they'll have like two positives and one negative, and if it's just not connected correctly, it can. It's almost like what Hidden says, but it will consistently just keep rebooting. But that would make sense though, if it just was shorted at the time. But if it's shorted, that means that fan's like permanently disabled. So, fanman guys, what do you guys think? Does interchangeable batteries make you lose interest in controllers? I'll just throw that out there. Does that make you lose interest in the controllers of the Steam frame? Does that bother you? So, in order to vote, you just put one or two. So it's all owned by corporations, and corporations ruin everything. They're even destroying VEG. Yeah, I know it's a shame. Isn't that pretty wild already? I know this is a little off topic, but I can't believe Caesars pretty much shut down. I thought that would never happen. Not really shut down, but they've been bought out. They got bought out by how much billions? It was quite a bit. They bought it for quite a bit. I think it was they were like 6 billion in debt, and they were bought out like roughly at 16, I think $17 billion. It's insane. But Anela says it's no passion before the game had to be shipped bug free in order to sell. If they had the luxury of shipping alpha versions and finished it later, they wouldn't. Yeah, that's true. And then at the time too, it was like games were never needed to be patched. It's for some reason it's like normal. We take it normal that that day one patches have to exist. Like you need to have a day one patch in order for you to play this game successfully. So if he says tried to swap it around and still didn't help and removed it and click uh uh yeah. Well, yeah, I would replace those fans anyway, Havy. Replace those fans, man. Because more than likely they do have an issue with it. It has to be. Oh, so they are distorted. So it is. So it is fan failure for sure. Textures pop so much larger even Resident Evil 2 remake. They give me two. They give me a choice of 2 GB textures. Yeah, you know the crazy part is you can play in a more efficient way when it comes to Resident Evil, where you can play as the most maxed out, insane path tracing game that runs the GPU, even the 5090 hard. Um, Resident Evil can do that, but it just shows you the flexibility of I always called it the Resident Evil engine, but you know it's actually not called the Resident Evil engine. It's called I forget what they call it. I'm gonna look it up now. In fact, let me see. It's not the Resident Evil engine. They call it something else. RE engine. It stands for something else actually. Reach for the Moon. And I always called it Resident Evil engine because that's what I thought it was, but it's a Reach for the Moon engine, which is pretty wild. um, but yeah, uh, Capcom taking advantage of that whole engine, the Reach for the engine, Reach for the Moon engine. It's just incredible. The only problems that I've truly seen from that engine was on Monster Hunter's Wilds. But they said that they improved it, but I haven't been back on Monster Hunter's Wilds in a little while. It was given problems, but that was a little while ago. But of course, I've heard mixed things about the game, so that's definitely a game I want to go back to and definitely play though. I had a lot of fun playing that game. And even the screen. Let me see. Alkaline batteries are horrible. They leak and corrode. You know that's a reason in my house. I never use alkaline batteries. I always get rechargeables for everything because I had a big issue, and there's been a couple times where on my front door I have a electronic lock practically. So and it uses AAA, not AAA, it uses 4 AA batteries. And every time, for some reason, at the time, they had alkaline batteries in it, and of course, they swell up. They end up leaking. So I had to end up going in there with pretty much like a small copper brush to kind of brush off the terminals and get everything nice and clean. Um, but yeah, I do agree it can be a headache. I do highly suggest if anybody does get the Steam frame, avoid alkaline batteries at all cost. Get rechargeables. It's much better for you. Um, it, let's see. Hey, sounds like a short of coil. Yeah, it probably is. Fans are okay, but the screen is the issue. Yeah, it's probably built into the screen there. But yeah, but hey, it's coming. It's definitely coming, Havy. It's on its way. So at least you do have that nice, wonderful Lian Lee fans coming in. So, but for the Steam frame, at least I would imagine during the instructions they would probably have to tell you or recommend it. I would hate for them to recommend batteries because that's going to end up that's definitely going to end up on the front page. It's going to say alkaline battery destroys controller. It truly doesn't take much. It just, if it sits in a room where the temperature is not truly cool. For example, not all of us not all of us have a very comfortable ambient temperature to be able to store our equipment. Uh, Thank you for the wonderful super chat, Tony. We're officially at $200 for the Threadripper build guides. Thank you. We're gonna do it, guys. We're gonna do it. we're there. We're gonna not there, but we're gonna get there. I need your opinion on this. Throw this on the game build. How can okay on the game build that I can throw that. It's your call. Can the mouse pie? How can mouse pie only be 10 GB and Samsung is only 11? You know, you pose a great question. You pose a great question actually. Samsung's really wonderful actually. If you guys haven't seen how fluid Samsung is, uh it's truly amazing. A lot of it has to do with again engines. Engines do play a big part of this. If you ever see his hair flow, um, you know what? We're gonna look at Samsung right now, and I'll show you. Uh, it's magnificent. It is magnificent. This is what he's talking about. Samsung's actually, you might have not heard of the game, you might have heard of it, but it's actually a really good Samsung game. Gameplay. Let's watch some gameplay. There you go. It's truly magnificent when it comes to the airflow. Let's go right. Let's make sure we got this in wonderful 4K so you guys can see this. Let's see. Right. Let me get it right in a good part. And this game got ragged. This game got ragged for like pretty much no reason because they say it's like really stiff the gameplay but let me see here. I'll turn on the sound too, guys. So let me turn that on so you guys can hear that. And this is a bad angle a little bit, but you'll see. I want to show the daylight. It's even better in the daylight. Let me go fast forward a little bit right here. Look how his airflow moves. It's quite insane, right? The accuracy on it. Yeah, I know that's the crazy part. A lot of games there's certain games that like that, and it's just like I guess because in the game the way they make it is it's like an open sandbox game. So they try to expand on the game, but it's pretty much like a repeat of everything. It's like just like too open world, almost like how Starfield is. But yeah, it's crazy. One of those underrated games. I guarantee you could get this on Steam sale. But that's just an idea of like how Samsung is. But that is a great point though. Um, how can they get games like this correct? And I'd say my answer for that is because mostly you have a lot of studios that take advantage of engines such as Unreal Engine 5. Of course, it's not the greatest engine that is out there. It has its course of problems. If you see these specifications when it comes to Gears of War E-Day, it's actually quite insane. In fact, let me get to that. I'll share that with you guys. If you take a look at E-Day's specifications, you would probably want to throw up. I'm not kidding. It's rough. It's already bad as it is. Like even some of the specifications to some of the games that they featured. I'm scrolling to it now, guys. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. So these are the specifications. That's a good point. Okay, so here it is. This is an example of the power of Unreal Engine 5, right, guys? So if you won't let me click on it, but at least I have it written out here. So you see that the minimum requirement of RAM is about 12 gigabytes. Recommended RAM is 16 gigabytes. Now the minimum GPU they recommend you is at the minimum RTX 2060, and then for a Intel GPU is RX. I mean Intel is A580 And this is AMD's RX 9060 and RX 6600. Now, their recommended GPU is an RTX 5060 or RTX 3060 Ti, RX 6700 XT, and RX 9060 XT. And the minimum CPU is a Ryzen 5 2600X or an Intel i7 6850K. I feel that's pretty reasonable, minimum wise. Recommended is a Ryzen 5 5600 and an Intel i5 11600K. So again, this is all optimized in Unreal Engine 5. So it makes you truly curious to see how well does this game truly run. Now, this game does release in October. We can test it then and get a decent idea. We'll run it on AMD. We'll run it on NVIDIA. And we'll get a decent idea of how it looks then. But you can buy a 500 gigabyte game. And you know what? A perfect example of a 500 gigabyte game, I can name it right now. Call of Duty. And the reason why, it's literally Dookie. But anyway, Call of Duty. It takes up to 500 gigabytes. Reason being is because it takes up so much space as it is. Because it's not just one game that's technically stored into your PC. You have multiple games. You have Call of Duty. Their what's it called? Their Battle Royale. I forget what the hell they call it now, but their Battle Royale version. Then they have the whole single story mode. Then of course, you have say Black Ops 7 that you also have to download. So you have to have all three of them in order for you to be able to play Call of Duty onto your system. So that's one reason why some games can take so much, because they kind of borrow from others. They're kind of lazy. It's the laziness of the developers too, because some of the framework and everything is from the other files, so they need you to download everything together for it to work properly. So it rips us off. Nobody should need a 4 terabyte drive. Yeah, I mean, truly, nobody needs 4 terabytes. That's a wonderful thing about Steam. You have the options to honestly download. If you're not playing the game, just uninstall it. Most people have games that they don't plan on playing. They just have it there because they'll eventually get to it. But most people that will end up not playing those games, you right click it and you see just how long it actually installed in your PC. It's been on there say since 2024 and you haven't touched it since. I think it's time to get rid of that game. But I do agree, like certain games should be optimized to the point where you're able to shrink it down. There's a game that they actually recently shrunk down. What is it? Damn. There's a game that actually did recently shrunk down. They went to 50 gigabytes. Now they're shrinking it down to 40. I know Helldivers did theirs where they significantly dropped their storage, where it originally was at 150 and they were able to manage it down to 50. But there's even another game that's doing that too. But damn, I can't remember which game it is. But they're also shrinking their game by 10 gigabytes. And that's what they need to do. They need to be able to compress and be able to optimize their games in the correct way, in the appropriate sense. So, but those are all valid points, though. 100% valid points. I get why, especially when gaming can get fatigue. It can get fatiguing, especially when you see such high pricing, especially something like this. It makes absolutely no sense. Yes, games are getting bigger. They want you to install something that is worth three PS5 Pros inside of a PS5, which makes no sense. You could literally buy three of them, and it would still end up being pretty much cheaper than this. Truly, if it only made sense, and this is PCI Express 4, guys. It tells you right there. Look, PCI Express 4. Nothing significant, nothing crazy. Um, they just renamed it. It's pretty much Western Digital's Black, but it's now SanDisk Optimus Pro. So my point is, what is the benefit of them having so many gigabytes if they? There is truly no benefit. The only benefit for them is having that space for reserve. There's so many different reasons why they have the space. It could be that they stored so much of the mapping, and they're just unorganized enough to where they don't know what to pretty much clear out. It could be that they then are truly like clear out the files that they don't need. It could be a lot of reasons. It could be truly be a lot of reasons. To be optimized, they have to be truly great at tracking everything that they do. Of course, FanBam guys, make sure to join in onto the wonderful Discord if you are not part of the wonderful FanBam on there. We definitely talk on there as well. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, especially if you're shy to mention it into the chat. I get it, but in no way, no shape or form should anyone spend $2,700. Yeah, yeah. In Steam they already have that game compressor. Typically, like if you move any of the disk or you move it to another drive, they typically compress the games anyway, so you can take advantage of it. Um, Steam does an excellent job of it. Of course, there's always limitations depending on the publisher on how they decide to do things, but Steam has been great overall, and I think Steam Machine could, sure, maybe some of you guys are not interested in getting the Steam Machine. But for the guys that are interested in getting the Steam Machine, I think this is going to be actually very helpful especially when it comes to the PC community. I believe it's going to open up a lot of different options for those who are wanting to be able to have the flexibility of having the flexibility of using a different operating system, being able to have the options of gaming on on a whole different OS, and when you do, you can see how much less resources are being used. You can even get less storage out of it if that's the case. But I think it's going to be a revolution in its own sense. So I'll buy a Steam machine. I hope it's optimized. I have a 5080 and pretty awesome processor, and I have nothing but issues all the time. Really. What are the issues that you are running into, by the way, with your PC? And I truly can understand. I can understand when you do run into problems. Sometimes it's the game itself because there's so many different variations when it comes to PCs. I know it's perfect. It's hard to get the perfect formula to have one game to run on all, so to say. Especially on a Windows environment, it's difficult as it is. Uh, because Windows is very particular when it comes to using RAM, when it uses the memory. And it's also particular on how the game runs as well. Some PCs will run automatically in HDR, some PCs it won't. But yeah, that's definitely one of the major contributing factors typically when it comes to games. And of course, various processors that you have. You have Intel, you have AMD, you have different GPUs. Um, and depending on how well they optimize the games here, it's almost like sometimes they optimize only or solely on a high-end flagship card, such as the 5090. And at that point, you question like if the developer did anything. And I think they truly have to optimize less. If they're truly going to create games, they have to base it off of something like an RTX 5060 at the minimum, or at least an RX 9060. Or if you're going back to our prior generation, at least go into like say the 4060, or if you're going to the 60 RX, say 6600 even, run on the really basic, most minimal specs, and then have the game run flawlessly. I mean flawless, even on a older piece of hardware. And that's the only way you could truly get a great result. So I'll buy a Steam machine. I hope optimized. Okay, I read that part. PCs have always been that way. Oh, I gotta get this update where I get that. I do get that. The most recent game that it's happened to me even is of course it happened on Battlefield 6, and I don't know what it is. It was with the recent update. It was causing the CPU to get hot. I mean, it started throttling. And it wasn't just me. I was playing with somebody. I was playing with a friend. And he was telling me that his CPU was reaching as high as 95 degrees Celsius. That's extremely high. That's thermal throttling levels as well, especially on Intel. He runs a Raptor Lake. So I told him you got to make sure to shut off your PC because at that point, it's it's no good. You're not going to. It's not good to keep this game open. Um, it's going to really damage your CPU if you do it. Not to that point, because luckily once it throttles, typically it'll end up rebooting and kind of go to its cool off period. And I pretty much had the same issue, but instead of actually, for me, it was actually hard freezing. At first, I thought that's really weird. So then I went to double check and I saw that it was pretty much doing the same thing as running at a really high temperature. And that was off of Battlefield 6's update back in, I'd say, May that this issue was happening, but overall it's fixed. But I certainly get your complaint, Tony. It can happen, especially in games. And of course, it's not perfect also on consoles as well. So there hasn't been a console since PS3 and Xbox 360. All consoles are downgraded PCs. Yes, pretty much. Um, Even the games haven't been great, exclusive wise. I have a PS5 that sits there. I haven't touched it since probably 2020. Let me see. I haven't touched it since 23. Since Final Fantasy 16. Long time. Nothing that makes me want to play PS5. Uh, but yeah, I do understand that. In fact, I even question if I want to get another console after this. Uh, if I do, or closest thing to a console would be the Steam machine because I'm really curious about the tech. And I'm also curious about like what can be truly modified because Valve's they're pretty friendly mostly when it comes to modding. So I just wonder how much you can truly get away with modding on the actual uh, GameCube. So Tim Foyle says 3.5, 7,200 RPM for terabytes is $200. That's not bad. So if you can move some of your older Steam games to it, it's a lot cheaper than NVMe. That's what I did. I actually have a backup drive, an external drive that I use like pretty much like my own cloud drive. I do want to build a network attached system. That was part of the plans until I got effed with storage, and those plans got canceled. But I ended up getting a cheaper Seagate drive back then, luckily, as like a temporary solution for the 24 terabyte one for like 250 bucks. And I gotta say, it's definitely one of the best things I have. And it's like pretty much like on a network at that system. It's just running on ASUS's they call it the whole AI storage. They changed the name, but it's pretty much like the router storage that ASUS has, and you can pretty much link it to your other PCs to the ASUS router in order for you to transfer your data. So I have a lot of my Steam games on there now because unfortunately my IP here, my internet provider that I currently do have, completely sucks ass, and they give me a limited amount of bandwidth. And because of that, I had to come up with a creative way of being able to store it. And so I chose to end up storing it over to my wonderful Seagate drive. But it's not a console if you have to download the game and update it every time you play it. Yeah. Well, that's all with all games now. All games are like that. Ever since I'd say it started roughly like since maybe after like 360 games were like that, but they were more expansive packs. I'd say like more of the PlayStation 4, Xbox One era. That's like when they started truly pushing the games in that type of direction. Don't you think? Like towards that era, it seemed to go that direction at least. Oh, let me take off that poll. I've been having that poll up there for a while, but uh, let me see. But it seems like no one had said anything on that poll. But I think nobody's truly affected by that. Like when it comes to it, when it comes to the battery. But I can say like if you do plan on using something like a battery here, where did they go? That's so weird. Let me see. It's probably hiding behind something here. Huh. Strange. But anyway, but yeah, most games you have to end up downloading it anyway. Unfortunately, that is how everything is done in today's world. It's an unfortunate case, but it is what it is. I bought the Xbox One, and every time I put the disc, I had to update. I use it for Blu-ray player. I still have it. It's a Blu-ray player. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If I had used my PS5, I haven't even used it, man. I probably still got Final Fantasy in the optical drive. I'm gonna make a short video for your members. I'm gonna hit the eject button on my PS5 and see what comes out. But I'm pretty sure it's Final Fantasy 16 because that's the last game I played. And if that's in there, that was since release date. I haven't even played it like on its DLC. So and I wanted to get it anyway for PC. It just at this point it's like I don't even know why I have a console. There's like no exclusives that you truly want to play. That makes me want to say like at least I look forward to this on PS5. Nothing. Uh, it's been really rough, I gotta say. Like I feel bad for a lot of the Sony guys out there, but you have to admit when Sony does a poor job when it comes to something like the games that have been released on PS5. And this is certainly the least games that I've ever purchased on a console too. If it has the old BIOS, you can. That's hard to say. I'm not even sure if it does. I have to check the BIOS on it because I do have it hooked up to the internet. That's the only thing. So I'm not sure if it's automatically updating to the point where it updated the BIOS itself because you should sell that PS5. Yeah, that's a good point. There's only one reason. I hate to say it, but there's only one reason why I'm not selling a PS5. Could you guys take a guess the reason why? There's only one specific reason. Guys, take a guess what that is. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind selling it. Damn, you're good hidden. Yes. That is the only reason. That is the only reason. Uh yeah, GTA 6. That was it. That's the only reason. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't keep it. I would get rid of it. Um I guess I got good news for you. We hit $200 so far on the Threadripper build. So it's getting done. It's gonna eventually happen. I misunderstood the question. Yeah, that's all right. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. No, it's okay. But no, you got the point. It's that's uh, it would be a shock though. Can you imagine GTA 6 says, "Oh, we're coming out on Steam Machine 2?" You know how pissed PS5 would be. Like how pissed Sony would be. They did try to get like the exclusive rights like for that month. They wanted 80 million at the time, but Sony denied them. They said no, we don't want to pay 80 million. You know how much money that would have guaranteed Sony, like to have people locked into their system. So NLS says people will be so poor by the time GTA 6 comes out. You'll go online. Yeah, it'll be like a smoking lobby. It'll be just like people smoking in GTA 6. That's a just talking about like how times have changed. If we don't come together and do something we about this nonsense, we might as well. I mean, it's already insane as it is. It's bad as it is. Fortunately, it's I can say this for sure. If SK Hynix truly believes this can drag out to 2030, I don't know who their analyst is, but that's no way. That's no way physically makes sense. There's no way that it would hold that way because you would literally crash everything. It would be like another Great Depression. Um, I highly doubt it would be 2030. I think he's way over exaggerating or over zealous about the whole AI side of things. Um, that he doesn't realize what he said was completely wrong for sure. I just don't see it lasting until 2030. Maybe till next year, 2027, I could see. 2030 is really long stretch there. Do you think? Do you know if AMD will release a CPU series? I think so. I believe that they will. They will release something during the whole CES 2027. They'll probably mention it before then, to be honest. I'll talk about Zen 6. Zen 6 is compatible with AM5. When they do, it's going to be focused on a lot of mostly dual cache. So I do expect it to actually happen then. We all have common sense and we're waiting for them to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. Right? It doesn't make any sense. Um, So, fam guys, I appreciate everyone for coming into the live stream. If you guys don't know, I will be also going live this Saturday. As typical, I go live on Saturdays between 10 to 12. So, hopefully, I see you guys there. Hopefully, you had all your questions answered. Hopefully, all your minds have been filled of what is currently happening. Thank you, Hidden, for popping in. I certainly do appreciate your updates, though, in Discord. I try to keep up with everybody. Um, Tony, yes, that's what it feels like. We're taking complete BS from that, and that we have to eat it. Z Man, have a great night. Thank you, Anellis. Thank you, um, again, Hidden Tony Z Man. Thank Wasabi for stopping in. Of course, Tinfoil Hatter. I know Rainbow's gone. Steve, thanks for stopping by as always as well. Also thank Noor, and of course our wonderful guys over at Twitch here. I thank all of you for being part of the wonderful live stream. Yeah, let me try that again. Yes, agreed, Tony. So one would be best served to, yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, get the one with the lower cores at this point. That's what it seems like they're telling us to get anyway. Uh, think I miss my Dreamcast. I should have kept it. I should have kept all my retro systems, to be honest. I want to get a PS2 again. So, FanBam guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And I look forward and hopefully I get to see you this upcoming Saturday. Have a wonderful night and make sure you enjoy the rest of your weekday. And don't think so much about AI at all. Definitely give you nightmares.